I'm live. I'm gonna hurry in. Oh, my headphone's being plugged. I blame you, kitty. No. You see the drums, yeah? Let's hurry and center my monitor. Oh, my light. Yeah, yeet. Right. My hair's a disaster. I need to get a haircut tomorrow. All right. So should I do I'm gonna hurry in. I'm gonna move my microphone so that's a little better for storytelling and turn my gain up just a little bit. So if I should seem a little louder. Oh, I think I know the first story I'm gonna read. In fact, camera move. If Slammy has any. Here's an $80 mic for watching a stream. I am using a $100 mic to stream. So. All right. Ooh, reading the lore. That'd be dope. All right. Here's one called I'm a 911 Operator. I got a blue Yeti. All right. This one's called I'm a 911 Operator. So I'm a 911 operator, and I just had the most terrifying call. 911, what is your emergency? Yeah, hi. This is going to sound kind of strange, but there's a man stumbling around in circles in my front yard. Could you repeat that, sir? He looks sick or lost or drunk or something. I just woke up to get a glass of water and heard snow crunching around underneath my front window, so I took a peek out. I'm looking at him now. He's about 10 yards away from my window. Something's not right. What is your address, sir? 1617 Quarry Lane in Pinella Pass. I'm going to send a squad car your way, but that's quite a ways out. Are you alone in your house, sir? Yeah, I'm alone. Can you confirm that all of your doors and windows are locked? Stay on the phone with me. I know that my front is definitely locked, but I'll go check my back door again really quick. I appreciate your help, by the way. I know this is kind of strange, but I really hope that... Sir, are you still there? He's still in the yard, but... Ooh, what the heck? He's upside down. There was a curse word there. There was a curse word. And I almost read it, which... Whew. Sir, stay on with me. What's happening? He's staring right at me, but he's standing on his hands now? He's perfectly still, staring straight at me. He's doing a handstand and he's smiling at me and not moving. He's doing a handstand, sir? I don't know. He's facing me and standing on his head, and he's got this huge smile, and he's perfectly still. What the Please get someone out here now. Sir, you need to remain calm. I've put a call on an officer. He is on his way. His teeth are so huge. Please help me. Sir, I want you to try and keep an eye on him, but make sure your back door is locked again. We need to make sure that all possible access points are secured. Can you talk me through and confirm that you are at the back door and that it is locked? Okay, I'm walking backwards now, and I'm keeping my eye on him. My hand is on the back doorknob now. It's locked. I need to check the deadbolt, so I'm gonna take my eyes off him for just a second. All right, sir, help is on the way. Just stay on the phone with me. Everything's going to be all right. Sir? Sir, are you there? Don't do that. I saw you send that, and I immediately looked at my camera. Don't do that. You're not funny. His face is against the glass. Sir, I need you to speak up. What is happening? I looked away for a split second, and now his face is pressed up against my front window. His teeth are huge. He's smiling. There's no color in his eyes. Jesus, please help me. Why won't you move? Sir, I need you to go to the nearest room and lock yourself inside of it. Do you have a basement or a bedroom that you can lock yourself in? He won't stop staring. He's going to hurt me. Sir, I need you to listen to me. Lock yourself somewhere safe until the officer arrives at your house. Can you hear me? Yeah. I'm going to lock myself in my room. Are you positive that you are home alone in your house, correct? Yeah, I'm home alone in the house. Wait a moment. He's moving. He's shaking his head. He's telling me no. He can hear us. He's telling me I'm not alone. Sir? Sir, are you there? I heard a loud noise. Is everything all right? Sir? That's a story for you. Yeah, creepy stories is not good. Oh, I'm on Reddit no sleep, that's why. You don't use Reddit? I don't normally go on Reddit a lot, but yeah. Don't go to sleep. I'm gonna read one more story. Oh, this one's called Why I'm No Longer a 911 Dispatcher. I arrived at the 911 call center about 6 a.m. to trade shifts with my friend Caden, who worked the night before. Oh, thank the Lord, he laughed as I walked through the door. I was just about to die from sleep deprivation, he yelled. A lot of people in the center took the night shift because they say that's when the more interesting calls take place. Me, on the other hand, usually handled the more simple calls. I guess you could call it, and I get the more simple calls, and I guess you could call it, one more time. I handle the more simple calls. I like my job that way. Caden took his coffee from his desk, took a sip, and walked out the center. I sighed and put the headset on and waited. Ring, ring. As soon as I heard the phone, I immediately picked it up and answered. 911, what is your emergency? I asked. My dog's leg is stuck in the fence, and it's bleeding really bad. He sounded like a child, maybe 7 or 8. My friends died, and I saw them as blue figures. I was the only one that could see and hear them. Oh, that would mess with me. That would mess with me just a little bit. I don't know who to call, the kid told me, whimpering. What is your address? I asked him. He told me his address, and we figured everything out. Soon it was rescued, and I guess they were fine. About 30 minutes later, I got another call. I grabbed the phone and answered it. like usual. 911, what is your emergency? I just heard silence. 911, I said one more time. What is your emergency? The voice on the other line whispered into the phone and replied,
Too late.
and then he hung up. A few seconds after that call, I got another call. All I heard was screaming, followed by a loud slicing noise, and then slicing. Silence, and then silence. I held my breath, hoping it was just a prank, but I don't think it was. I got on my computer trying to trace the call. Eventually I did, and figured out it came from a secluded forest in Colorado. We got some officers to go out there and check it out. What they found was frightening. It was a single dog with all of its legs chopped off and a little boy impaled with a stick. Whenever they told me about it, I think I almost pissed my pants whenever I found all this out. I thought about the earlier call, a little boy and his dog. Another day passes after the incident and I'm at my house. I call in sick, which I never do, to take in everything that happened the previous day, all my thoughts hitting me like a tsunami. I don't know if it was the same boy who called earlier or who killed him. Why did the killer do this? I don't know what happened, and I still don't know. A few days later, and I come back to work hoping everything was back to normal, and of course it wasn't. I got a call as soon as I sat down. I put my headset on, and of course I answered like always. 911, what is your emergency? My baby's choking. What is your address? I could hear wailing and coughing in the background. My address is... We'll be there shortly, ma'am. I informed the EMTs and they drove there immediately. TV's on static? What do you mean? My TV doesn't even have static. I got another call about 45 minutes later. 911, what is your emergency? I said.
Too late.
The man replied. Then he hung up. I traced the call yet again. It was another forest in Colorado. We had another police squad go down, and they're down there and found something terrifying. My light flickered brighter. I don't know if you saw that. There we go. That's less gross. A little baby in his high chair, dead with blood pouring out of his mouth, and other gory details along with an older woman with slit wrists. I quit my job the next day and started working somewhere else. I was scared of my experience as a 911 dispatcher, and I want to share my story on Reddit. Let me tell you, if you decide to be a 911 dispatcher and you're reading this, please reconsider. That's creepy. I don't like this. Alright, I'll do one more. Yeah, one more. I don't like this. Ooh, this one. 10 years ago, I spoke to something otherworldly. What it said will haunt me forever. Most of us feel quite safe when the weather turns bad. We have houses, castles of steel, plaster, and wood. We have televisions and internet, systems to warn us about anything actually dangerous. Modern life serves every need, aside from natural disasters. Weather rarely poses a problem in the 21st century. Gone are the days of muddy caves, of huts and villages. Now we live in monuments to our achievements. And so when the rain comes down in sheets, with cracks of light splitting the air open and reverberating rumbles follow, we feel nothing but excitement. But sometimes the atmosphere beyond our walls is violent enough to unnerve us. The wind is powerful enough to make our houses creak, and the tap of the rain turns into a roar. The thunder erupts just outside, impossibly loud. The ground shakes, and for a moment, a primal urge to hide takes over. Our instincts are buried deep, but the untamed might of a storm can dredge them up. Because at the core, we're still frightened animals. We just upgraded our caves. It was on such a thunderous night that I spoke to the Soul Eater. I finished my evening rituals and crawled under my sheets. The noise of rain comforted me at first, and soothing static lull. But when the storm intensified, my breath grew shallow. My anxiety, I've never bothered with psychiatric help, so I don't know what diagnosis they'd give my brain, but whatever plagues me, it twists my thoughts since childhood. I thought about my mind a lot that night, laying in my bed as the windows flashed with lightning. Why I am the way I am. What does it mean to be me? Is it even worth it to be me? These questions swirled in my head, and the storm raged outside. I found no answers. The interesting thing was that most people would actually want to be me, or at least to live my lifestyle. I found success in writing thrilling novels, and my possessions were impressive. My house was grand and stately, situated in woodland corner of a nice neighborhood. Yet it was empty. Nobody shared my home with me. I was also empty myself. I had nobody which to share my true self. I was hyper conscious of the fact that I'd missed out on a young love. That beautiful, blissful experience. 30 years old and alone. Sure, I could find someone, but the damage of loneliness had already been done. And since I wasn't living for somebody else, what was I really living for? I never particularly enjoyed life when I was a teenager. I lived because I had a future. When I was in the early 20s, I lived to take care of my mother. When I was in my late 20s, I lived because I had stories to tell. Now that future was here. My mother was gone and my stories were told. What was left? KYS? Yeah, that means... I know what that means, and... You either are sleep deprived, sir, or you might need to see someone. Because... yeah. Not much of a point to continue in life. Krakow! The thunder rang out like 1,000 simultaneous gunshots. My house, my enormous empty house, shuddered, shaking dust from the ceiling. You can hear my cat, yeah, she meowed. Instinctively, I pulled the blankets over my head before a sense of shame for my childish reaction took over and forced the covers back down. I realized I needed to sleep. My thoughts were turning dark, and my emotions were bubbling to the surface, dredged up by the storm. I tried to lie still and shut off my thoughts. Seconds turned to minutes, then to hours. I was preparing myself to go grab some Ambien when another crack of thunder exploded. Yo, what's up, bot? I'm doing a story. Seconds turned to minutes, then to hours. I was preparing myself to go grab some Ambien when another crack of thunder exploded over the house. As the rumble faded, I heard something else. A dull thud from downstairs. The front door had been slammed shut. I remembered locking it that night. I lay quietly pondering. A robbery? Should I call the cops or pretend to sleep? What if it wasn't a robbery at all? Perhaps some poor soul got caught in the storm, had sought shelter. Nicholas, called a deep voice from outside my window, or my room. My heart froze. Goosebumps broke out across my body. Whoever was out there, they sounded like no human I'd ever met before. I tried to sit upright. Nothing happened. Couldn't move. That sounds like sleep paralysis to me. It was like I was held in place by an invisible weight. Yep, sleep paralysis. It happened to me from time to time. The phenomenon always carried a heavy burden of fear due to a concoction of hallucinations. But this time, I found it somewhat reassuring. It meant the voice outside my door wasn't real. I held my breath as the doorknob turned slowly, agonizingly. when my bedroom door creaked as it swung open and a figure came into view. The man was floating horizontally, as if he lay face down on the thin air. As he drifted across the room and over my bed, I had a sickening realization. It was me, my body, my face, even the pajamas that I had on at the very moment. He became motionless as he hovered directly above me. For a moment, we just stared at each other. Then his mouth moved, and the voice that emerged was so alien I couldn't imagine it syncing with a person's lips, much less my own. "Hello, Nicholas." Deep, knowing, mournful, as if the ocean could speak, and above that, a barely perceptible static buzz in the words. I only stared. "Come on now, be polite," cried the ghost. I found I could speak. "You're not real," I told him. At this, my face suspended just a few feet above me, only smiled. Keep going. All right. Yeah. Whatever gets you to sleep. I was thinking we could have a conversation tonight. That voice, I don't know how I did that, because I felt like I was going to cough. The hallucination's voice boomed around the room, echoing for more distant corners of the house. "About what?" I asked him. I tried to move my arms and legs, but they refused to respond. It would be a long night. "Life, death, you." I answered with a stare, at which the face's smile of me broke into an even larger grin. This is freaking me out, sorry. "Let's start with a question. Why are you still alive?" Of course he knew my thoughts. This was, after all, my dream. Still, a weird feeling crept through my paralyzed body when he mentioned the exact same question I had just asked myself. "Because my life has value," I answered. "Hardly a satisfactory answer, Nicholas. Why does your life have value?" There it is. That voice hurts, the ghost said in an unearthly voice. I hesitated for a few moments. There are good things in my life. I eat well, I relax, I want for nothing. Good. The floating version of me chuckled. Eating well is good. Relaxing is good. What about the bad, Nicholas? It doesn't matter how satisfied your material urges are if your soul is diseased. That voice hurt. I didn't answer. The fear that had dissipated. This is what happens when you get a guy with dyslexia to try and read a story. Minutes ago returned at the words. This didn't feel like a normal dream. Ponder this. How does the good in your life compare to the bad? The negatives are overwhelming. You have more regret than pride. You have more anger than joy. You have more aches and pains than comfortable moments. And your loneliness outweighs your love with the gravity of a world. Shut up! I told the thing and shut my eyes again. I tried to move, and again my body failed me. No, the word resounded. Sonorous and static, from inches above my face, I opened my eyes and found the ghost had moved much closer. The smile had left its face. Every moment is a battle between joy and pain, in which one wins the majority of the time. Jeez! hurts. Ah! There's no formula I can contrive. To prove this to you, but you know the truth. Deep within you, you see, Nicholas. Here's the truly sad aspect of all this. You live a better life than the vast majority of all humans that I have ever lived. Are you still unhappy? What does that tell you about your life? Life is suffering, I conceded. This is a mantra some of my characters like to repeat. He smiled again, suspended over me, and floated upwards a few inches. I hated my own face at that moment, a taunting and smug grin. So I live. His question came out as a whisper that held more menace than any previous booming statements. I stared up at the being. Faith, I answered after a minute. His laugh was loud and rolling, like a series of crashing waves. Faith? Faith in what? Life is made of uncertainty. What if there's someone up there? Someone up there? You pitiful thing. You must know there's nobody, nothing. And if by some great accident there was a being that created you, would you not curse it for your flaws, for the suffering inherited in what you are? A god which created you would be nothing short of evil. I can't explain it. I don't have to. That's what faith is, a passion for something greater than yourself. But as I said the words, I knew I didn't believe them. I'd never been religious. Liar, taunted the ghost as he pointed an arm down at me. And even if you were attempting to deceive yourself, think of the very notion of a grand scheme of things. Some kind of cosmic plan. Is it truly a comforting idea that you are merely a cog in a machine created by an incomprehensible force? Chief Palpatine from Star Wars, don't. Good. A cold feeling spread through me at that. Why you gotta bully me, bot? A cold feeling spread through me at that. But I forced myself to ignore it. I kept forgetting it was all still a dream, only a manifestation of my subconscious. Couldn't let it disturb me, but there was something about the way the ghost moved and spoke that just wasn't right. It was like no sleep paralysis episode I've ever suffered. Nicholas, why live? I turned into Venom. It went from Emperor Palpatine to Venom. Because the future, I answered. He smiled and opened his mouth, but I cut him off. And no, not because I think I can destined to be successful, like I used to think. I mean, because I can wake up tomorrow and go to Europe, because I can choose to do anything I want. Maybe I am unhappy. Maybe there's really nothing divine out there, but I have the freedom to choose my life. I felt determined to beat this thing as I understood it. The dream would end when I proved him wrong. Showed him that my life is worth living. He stared down at me, not visibly angry, but when he spoke, the static buzz in his voice was more noticeable. Wrong. For the first time I noticed... For the first time I noticed his eyes. They were not exactly like mine. Some kind of yellow tint perved them. Wrong. You aren't free. You worm. You are a puppet, a biological object used to perpetuate your species. You say you can go to Europe tomorrow, but you won't. You only do what your urges tell you to do. You are the sum total of the forces that evolution built inside you. It did kind of sound like Emperor Palpatine. That raised even more defiance in me. You know what? That doesn't even matter. I feel free, and so I am. Fundamentally, there's no difference in my reality either way.
But, Nicholas, even if you feel free, is that not a negative experience? Is there not a horror in being forced in this world without meaning? A wanderer meant to seek something he can never find. As long as you hold this delusion close to your heart that you are free, you will never be satisfied, because you must surely believe that there is some combination of choices out there that will save you from what you are.
Ugh. I'm pretty sure that voice isn't healthy for me. The cold feeling returned, and I recognized it for what it was. The realization that the ghost was right. For all the malice and hopelessness that poured out of his grinning mouth, his refutations made sense. The ghost didn't stop.
That's the bane of it all, really. Consciousness, that awareness, that sickening knowledge that you exist. Human beings, they don't really want to be beings, they just want to be. But yourself cannot ever simply be, for it strives constantly. Yourself, Nicholas, strives to disintegrate. Look behind the veil of most enjoyable activities in this life and realize they are a process of becoming unself. Sex, drugs, love, even fun itself. Happiness in the process of killing self-awareness.
Is that a Pikachu with a Santa? Are you playing Pokemon Go? I squeezed my eyes shut and tried to move, hoping that the nightmare would end. When I opened them, the ghost lay on top of me. I could see nothing but his eyes, so much like mine, but with a strange yellow light behind them. What do you want? I asked him.
Your soul.
I thought I was just a biological creature without a soul.
Then it should be nothing to relinquish.
What do you want me to do? I whispered.
Give up.
The ghost floated higher, nearly disappearing into a murky gloom of high art ceiling. Then he began to change, and the facade of me, the facade of humanity, fell away like a withered leaf, and I saw how vast the thing truly was. It hung in the air like smoke and filled the mind in a way that pushed out all ability to describe it. When I regained my words, I asked, "What are you?"
The Soul Eater.
I did not respond.
Nicholas, it's time. Give in. Let me have it.
The thing was right. It was right about me. It was right about the world. It was right about life. No. I spat the word. Something in me wanted to live. The demon above me shifted and writhed.
Why?
Because what is life for? If not continuation, there's a force inside me, and I want to perceive it. I don't care how crappy things are. The soul, I thought I said shifty at first, but then I realized that's not F. The Soul Eater hissed. It grew until there was nothing else, and then it tried to strip my soul. There's not much I can say that will accurately describe what I felt at that moment. It should suffice to say that I am scared, and will never forget it, but I won. I fought off those grasping threads of spirit. Life won. Eventually, the Soul Eater withdrew.
You and I, we will do this again.
A lump of dread manifested in me. What if this being came when I was weak? Then I realized I just fought it off at my weakest moment, and some sort of pride filled me. And I will win again, I told it.
You won millions of times already, but on one of these repetitions you will fail. You see, Nicholas, the universe repeats itself. It expands, it contracts, it re-expands. And every time the same thing happens.
Almost. Almost there are. Evan.
Almost. There are two things that change. The first is myself. I have been presented for every rise and fall from the dawn of time. And before I exist in another place in another way, the universe does not control me. And so I last through the endless back and forth, living through realities as you live through minutes. The second, Nicholas, is that the universe is dying. Every expansion, every contraction, it grows weaker, fainter, and you right now are on the uncountable number of expansions from the beginning. One of these days you will have faded enough to give in. There is a secret only I know, Nicholas.
What? I asked, terrified to hear the answer.
Everything already ended. It's over. The universe once existed in glory, but it's dead now. You're just the fading ripples, a pale echo of what once was.
And with that, the Soul Eater moved back through my door, out of my house and into the night. As soon as it left, I found I could move again. I held my hands to my face and cried. Just sobbed for the longest time. It had to have been the most traumatic dream of my life, but of course, it was just that, a dream. Sleep paralysis, a common psychological phenomenon. I won't be streaming tomorrow, but I stream every Tuesday night. And so when I have negative thoughts, when I begin to wonder if this world is worth living, the answer is lying right next to me and in the rooms across the hall. But sometimes I see it in my house, or when I'm driving the kids to school. I spot a glimpse of my doppelganger on the side of the road, floating just a few inches off the ground and grinning. And for a moment, I remember everything. I feel everything that I felt that night. I realize I've buried the truth with a textbook lifestyle, designed to be my fulfilling. Because at the core, I'm still a lonely animal, fending off the truth of an uncaring world. I just upgraded my defenses. Should I do another one? Is anyone still here? Are you here, bot? All right. Well, that was weird. That was different. I'm gonna actually do one of these. I'm gonna on Saturday. I'm gonna upload 2 videos on Saturday. I'm gonna do these things, but I'm gonna read a story. I'm gonna take time though, edit it, and get my vocal clips just right. I'm gonna do a story, and I already have a video I'm gonna upload Saturday. So if you watch this on Saturday, I have a video that'll be coming out. I'm gonna try and do a second video on Saturday. I'm gonna try and do a story reading video because of this stream. But as a famous man once said, when the universe ends, a whole new Big Bang will happen. And with this Big Bang, it'll be full of new stars. And I'll see you new stars in the next one. Bye-bye.